Good Wednesday to you, everybody. Income 785. Welcome to week buying 6. The come down after the high of residency week, which of course needs the requisite amount of caffeine. Much better now. I am here back with you again. You're now sufficiently caffeinated communication instructor. How's everybody doing? Man, oh man, it was great to spend time with you, however short, at Regent. I hope everyone traveled well, traveled safely, and traveled well. First things first, you want to get to where you're going without any bumps or bruises, and then have as pleasant of a trip as you can. And it was really, really nice being with you. Thank you again for the birthday card. That was very, very thoughtful. And, for the wonderful participation that you put into it during those 3 days. Would that it could be longer. But time, like everything else, marches on. Okay. So for this week, we do not have readings from last week to go over because, we were in residency. But because of how the total points for the semester are calculated, I do need to assign some points equivalent to discussion questions, which we also we didn't have during residency week. So here's what we're going to do. If you will look in the assignments folder, okay, you will see a link to upload your quick write something exercise that we did. So upload your final copy, the one that you presented to the class, not the one that you wish you had presented that had the higher FK score, the one that you did present that had to have the score of 9 or below. You know who you are. Make sure everybody's name is on it, and I will give you credit for that. I think normally it's 40 points a week for discussion. I'll give you 50 for uploading your final copy. You'll see the link in the assignment folder. Also in the assignment folder, so business for this week. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. I don't know what it is. You will see the link for your phase 1, the phase 1 of your semester proposal that you worked out. It says, it's due the 18th, which is today. If it comes in another day or so, I don't care. I just don't want too many things stacking up against one another because next week, the 23rd, is our midterm examination week. I'll tell you what, let me get some feedback from you. Could somebody or somebody's email me, would you prefer to have the exam at the beginning of the week or the ending of the week? I could, I'm thinking I could post it post it on the 29th. That would be the very end of the week, and then have it due on before the stroke of midnight on the 30th. That would be the beginning of the next week. All right, let me know. Okay, and I'll tell you what I'll do also. If we decide we prefer to have it at the end of the week, I will send you a more focused review sheet now that I've finalized some of the questions that will let you drill down on specific items that you should know. In general, the instructions remain the same. Review the discussion questions. That's where the bulk of the material will come from. I already told you at residency, concerning these videos, what I might ask you. I may throw in a question or two from our time together, but nothing too obscure. This is not an Easter egg hunt. That's not what we're doing here. That is something that we covered during residence, and maybe something about, I don't know, semiotics or something. A wink, okay, that you should be aware of. Okay, let's take a look at this week. The bane of my existence, this Canvas platform. I posted the material on Monday, and then I got a note from Jennifer saying, hey, yeah, we see the questions, but we don't see the readings. We don't see the module. Why? I don't know why. So I went back in, I turned the module, it was on, I turned it off, I turned it back on again. So if you have any problems seeing it, please let me know. Okay, so this week what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the role of creativity. You know, it's an interesting balance because what you want to do is know how to ground what you're saying, you're prescribing, like do this, ground that in the data, but you want to come up with ideas, with innovations, with approaches that have that creative spin, no matter how well founded a plan that you might have. And this, by the way, it doesn't matter if it's a PR plan, you know, marketing, a not-for-profit plan, or the plan for your life. Maybe you're at a point in which, you know, you're saying, I feel a change coming on, and I'm going to be going in a different direction. I mean, I might already be up there. I might already be in that direction up here, but here I'm still doing this, but I've got to change. Okay. Ground your decisions, your project management plan on good solid data, but anchor the idea that is, this is where I'm going to go, to something creative, because you regardless of how well founded the plan, you have to get the attention of those that you're pitching it to, and that starts with yourself. All right, if it doesn't seem like a good idea, if you're not buying in, don't do it. Back up, rethink it. So we're going to read a little bit this week about the importance of creativity and out of the box thinking relative to PR campaigns. So we'll take a look at chapters 5 and 6 from Wilson. You're going to start the other Cialdini book, which is actually the first of the two books he wrote, Persuasion, after he wrote Influence, but we've been reading from Persuasion. So you'll read chapter 1, read the introduction too. I don't have that in the module, but you know, when you pick up a book, read the introduction. And remember what we said about how to increase your speed as you read through material. You know, now I should have told you, I'm just looking for some text that I can grab a hold of. You know, in addition to reading several words at once, when I'm reading for information, I don't read the whole text. Okay, the only time that I read word by word, one word at a time, and the entire text is if I'm reading something for my enjoyment, my relaxation, and an appreciation of the use of the language by the author. Now, you know, the exception to that might be that when I'm reading, say, in a foreign language, and I have to slow down and go, okay, what does this mean? All right, the font's too small. But otherwise, no. I'm not reading all of the text. But when you get to the point, the font's too small. When you get to the point when you're reading that you get the gist of what's going on, skip. Okay, go down to the next paragraph and start by reading 3 words at once. All right, this is still small, but okay, so here's some text. Let me see if I can orient this to the camera. Okay, so you're going to start by reading, let's see, 3 words at once by starting in the middle. Once you master that and you have a good feel for sort of the bounce, now expand again. And instead of focusing on the middle word, now read 4 words at once by focusing on the space in between the second and the third word. Look here. And your eyes will string together the meaning of this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right. If you practice that, you'll start with 3, so you have a word to focus on, because that's what you're used to. Okay. Once you get the hang of that, expand to 4. Look at the space in between, basically the 2 words. Right. Once you get a handle on that, then go back to focusing on a word with say 3 on each side, 7. And if you can get to that point, now you can read an entire sentence in essentially 2 maybe 3 glances. This part, that part, and you're done. Most sentences range from 21 to 35 words, right? So 7 7 is 14 plus. So you go do, 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 do. This will dramatically increase the amount of information you can get into your brain and start processing. All right. So as we expand our readings for this week, you'll read chapter 7 in Persuasion. You'll read chapter 1 in Cialdini. And again, so since these are books for information, scan through the introduction, and as soon as you get a sense of what the point is of this book, what the author's up to, dump the rest. Right? Unless you're reading for great enjoyment. Maybe you love Cialdini. Hey, I'm not knocking it. Okay. Maybe you want to read every word. Okay, fine. But if you are, doing this for work, which is what this kind of is, don't do that. Okay. All right, everybody. Short and sweet. Okay. So for this week, back into the readings. Study for the exam by reviewing the discussion questions. Okay. Make sure that you upload your phase 1 of your semester project. Have everybody's name on the document, and make sure that you upload your completed quick write something, and make sure you have everybody's name, from your team on the document. And that way I know to whom to give credit. Okay. And again, thank you so much for making the residency enjoyable. And I don't like hyperbole, except for when I'm obviously clowning it up. But I'll use this word with intent for making my experience of the residency transformative, because I did go in there feeling, a little down, maybe a little sorry for myself. Not a good look, I realize. And the effort, the energy, even the exchanges that we had. Very good. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for your work. If you have any questions, or if there are any problems with these dopey links in the uploading, let me know, and we'll extend due dates and deadlines accordingly. And until then, I think about you, I pray about you, and I will see you on Canvas. God bless. Bye-bye.